Good morning. Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. We are going to start with our opening hymn, which is number 347. Please rise in body or in spirit and sing along. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, the body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Be seated.
Good morning and welcome once again. I am Christy Anderson, a member of the Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Today we are in person at the Admiral at the Lake, the 2U Sanctuary, and continuing to meet virtually using Zoom. We're glad that you're here, whichever way you are attending. If you are in the sanctuary and would benefit from hearing assistance, we have devices available, as well as noise-canceling headphones, for both adults and children with noise sensitivities. Please see our tech team in the back if you want that assistance. We are navigating varying needs for health and wellness, particularly related to COVID. We welcome you to wear a mask. I should take my mask off while I'm talking, however. We have masks available back there on the table as you enter the building. We especially welcome newcomers and visitors this morning. Finding a new community and making new connections can be challenging. Please know that we are excited to have you here, and we look forward to getting to know you. If you would like, there are blue mugs on the coffee at the coffee hour that you can pick up and hold if you want somebody to come up and say hello to you. With ongoing construction in the Palmer Room, it may feel best to get your coffee and snacks and come back into the sanctuary. Additionally, we always need people in the kitchen after coffee hour, and that's a great place to see old friends and make new ones while lending a helping hand. Our worship today is led by Reverend Jason Lydon, along with Ryland Rich as worship associate. Music is provided by Patricia McKenna, Bill Paul, Kristen Close, and Thais Bravslavsky. Our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, the music, and the technical production. You can find many announcements about what's going on at the church in your order of service. We encourage you to take it home with you when you exit the sanctuary. As we greet our neighbors this week, let's do it. Now I had to find out what this really is. With an enthusiastic low five. Okay, this is time to take a moment and greet your neighbor.
Good morning. I'm Pat Wilder. I'm a latecomer to the Unitarians. I did a lot of church surfing, and a friend of mine actually told me she was leading the service at the Deerfield UU Church on the environment. So I decided to take her up on it and attended. Well, I found my religion. I had the joy of staying with UUs when I spent almost a year and a half driving around the country visiting national parks. And a few weeks ago, while I was out at the welcome table, a woman from I greeted a visitor from the Fairbanks, Alaska UU Church. And she was one of the hosts that hosted our group with a UU group that visited Alaska back in 2012. So we got to catch up on what's going on up there. Found a new home in Chicago and a new church home at 2U. 2U offers so many opportunities to contribute both inside and outside the church. With the outstanding music, good friends, and the Sunday message to reflect upon and inspire action, who wouldn't want to contribute to its well-being? I volunteer where I can, I contribute what I can, and I even added 2U as a beneficiary in my will. To borrow from Vita Blue, 2U has been very, very good for me.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but the values we share, where we keep love at the center. Whether you are joining us for the first time or the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whatever way you move in the world, however much money is in your pocket, you are welcome here. I invite you, when you feel ready, to take a breath in and out. And now rise in body or spirit and join in singing our congregational hymn, Spirit of Life. Please remain risen and join me in reciting our covenant. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion.
You can be seated. Before we light our chalices this morning, I want to remind you that we will be honoring the life of Jean Horker after service today at 3:00 p.m. And in just a moment, Zella will light our chalice here in the sanctuary, and Harris will do so at the Admiral. And we light our chalices this morning, the symbol of our faith, with these words from Khalil Gibran. You often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say, not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish. As this flame burns brightly this morning, let us question what it means to be deserving and hold close our UU affirmation that all life is overflowing with inherent worthiness. I want to invite those who are young in age or young at heart to come and join me here on the chancel. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ooh, we have a frog joining us. Excellent. I'm so glad. Interspecies children's time is the best kind of children's time. Well, it's nice to see you this morning. You may remember that a couple of weeks ago, Brenna was talking with us about generosity. And then you may remember we had a line and we told a story together. We are talking about generosity again today. And so I wanted to first show you the way that you communicate generosity through American Sign Language. And I learned this from Brittany. She taught me last week, so I want to see if I can teach you. So I'm going to put this down, and you can do this with me. When we think about generosity here at church, one of the things we're thinking about is how we give money to take care of our congregation. We've been talking quite a bit about that recently. On Sunday mornings, we have somebody over the last month or so get up at the beginning of the service and talk about why it is that they give to our congregation. Because money is needed to keep things going. It makes it so that we can give money to pay all of our staff so that everybody can work here. We use it to take care of our building, to support the ministries of our church, like our children's program and our music program. But does anyone think that money grows on trees? Technically it does. Okay, I hear you. Because of cotton or where it comes from? Very good point. I appreciate that, Escher. But what about a $100 bill? Could you go to a tree and pick up a $100 bill? That's impossible, right? Well, unless it fell on the ground and maybe someone attached it to the tree and then you could go and grab it. That would be so fun. Imagine. Well, what if we do some imagining right now? Can you make yourselves a tree? Can anyone make themselves a tree? What does a tree look like? Up here, oh, you tree pose. Oh, look at you all. Some people are doing some yoga life together. I love that. So, I really like Ryland's kind of creepy tree, kind of doing some things over there. Got some trees like this. Okay, now I want you to shake some money off your tree into our sanctuary, because we could use some money in our sanctuary. So shake some of that money off your tree. And then I'm wondering, could anyone here tell me something that you would put some of that money into our church? Yeah, Zella. More decorations. That would be so fun. Escher, what would you put the money into?
I would also put the money into more items for the church to use during service.
More items for the church to use during sermons. Miles, I saw your hand up. What would you like to do? More fire. Okay. We were just talking about that this morning. There's a lot of possibilities. Anyone else? One last one, if anybody wants to share. Yes, Malachi. A bank so that people could have money who have less money. I love that. So many good things. Well, I appreciate you all so much. You have so many great ideas about generosity, and you make beautiful trees money trees full of imagination about the possibility of what we can do. I totally see you, Esther, but we're going to wrap up. I appreciate you so much. But I want to invite everyone to join me in singing our young people off to their classes. Could anyone here use a money tree? Anybody? Yeah, I hear you. So we've been talking quite a bit about our pledge season the last few weeks, and I like to remind you every Sunday that each year we make a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of this, our church, because it belongs to you. And we do this to support the ministry of our congregation. In addition to this pledge that we make, we take a collection every Sunday so that we can share with those who are doing justice work well beyond our walls. And I wonder if you know that every year we contribute about $12,000 to $15,000 to organizations around our city doing justice work. And you should be proud of that because you are the ones who do that. In just a moment, you will see on the screen during the music a phone number that you can use to do text to give. And then for those of you who are gathered here in the sanctuary, we will pass a plate around so that you can put in your change or cash or checks, and that would be fully welcome. For the month of March, we are sharing our plate with One Northside. And this morning, we have some words from Pitt Paris.
Good morning. My name is Pip. My pronouns are he, him, and his. One Northside is a mixed income, multi-ethnic, intergenerational organization that unites diverse communities in Rogers Park, Edgewater, Uptown, Ravenswood, North Center, Lakeview, and Lincoln Park. One Northside builds collective power to eliminate injustice through bold and innovative community organizing. We accomplish this through developing grassroots leaders and acting together to effect change. I have been a member of One Northside on the housing justice team since fall of 2021, and it has been an experience of meaning, transformation, and learning how to build people power. I was also a communications intern for 1 year, in which I led One Northside's communications strategy for Bring Chicago Home, a ballot initiative for funding affordable housing by slightly increasing the one-time real estate transfer tax on properties over $1 million. While this measure didn't pass, I felt good about our involvement because the measure did pass in every one of the precincts represented by One Northside. One Northside helps build people to utilize the power of their own stories in order to fight for change. I had the opportunity to speak to City Hall about my previous personal experiences of homelessness and how difficult it was to break free and to begin to build prosperity. For Bring Chicago Home, I created a video contest where I invited people to, and I helped people to record testimonials about why affordable housing mattered to them personally. One Northside builds people power and develops leaders from communities most affected by issues like homelessness and community violence. This grassroots work is essential for the well-being of our city, and I hope you will support One Northside today with your dollars.
Now, I invite you to join me in reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on your screen. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Rest your body in your chair. Maybe feel your feet on the floor beneath you. Your back supported. Rest your head gently on your neck, your spine elongating. Just feel yourself present in your body. There's so much noise around us. Busy in our minds, busy on the streets, busy on the news. Let us take some time to just be quiet. Let us wrap ourselves in the spirit of gratitude. Thankful for the breath in our lungs, the beauty of our earth, and the strength of this, our beloved community. We hold in our hearts those who care for family in ill health, those who live with grief or chronic pain, those struggling with addiction or illness, seen and unseen. We're with you. For parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is the care of children, we're with you. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty, particularly those in tents in our streets. For immigrants and refugees who are fleeing and seeking, finding new homes in our city amongst many currently so under attack. We are with you. We pray for all those living in harm's way, particularly those navigating the violence of guns. We pray for our planet and commit to work that will lead us away from the harms of climate chaos. As the genocide in Palestine continues, as war in Ukraine continues, as violence around the world continues, we pray that wisdom, compassion, and empathy would guide the leaders of our world. May they and we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. Our lives are truly blessed by those who are encountering the final stages of life. We offer prayers of comfort and care, knowing this journey is far from easy. Into this, our shared silence across space, I invite you now to speak aloud the names of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of our community. With our deepest compassion, let's hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be so. Amen, and blessed be. During our ritual of lighting candles for joys and concerns, we want to continue to take care of one another and ourselves. In the 2U sanctuary, you are invited in a moment to come forward and light a candle. And as you end your time of contemplation and candle lighting, we invite you to use the hand sanitizer that's available. For those of us at the Admiral, I invite you to come forward, take a stone from one bowl, hold it tightly in your hand, and then knowing your joys and sorrows to be shared by this community, let it go lightly into the other bowl. And for those of us on Zoom, I invite you to join by sharing your joys and concerns in our chat window. all of these are shared joys, celebrations, concerns, and sorrows close to our hearts. Riley, will you share our first reading, please?
Our first reading this morning is the beginning of a reading entitled Sustaining the Tree of Life by Lynn Garner. The tree stood in the middle of the village. Its trunk was so large that it took 6 people holding hands to reach around it. The roots were strong and wide. Its branches spread out over the village square, offering shelter from the rain or shade from the summer sun. Its fruit was juicy, sweet, and plentiful. The people of the village loved the tree. Children played beneath it and climbed its lowest branches. Young people knew that if you whispered your dreams to the tree, they were more likely to come true. People who proclaimed their love or friendship or for one another beneath its branches found their relationships to be nourishing. And elders discovered that their sweetest memories could be counted on when they were near the great tree. The tree had been witness to so much, and when the breezes blew through the leaves, one could hear the echoes of generations. Laughter, conversations, dreams, prayers, and songs. Animals loved the tree too. Rabbits lived in burrows under the roots, squirrels and monkeys lived in its branches, and bats and birds flew in to eat the abandoned fruit and the abundant fruit. The tree seemed to buzz with life. One day, a traveling merchant arrived in the village. He rested in the shade and ate 2 pieces of delicious fruit. "This fruit is incredible," he said. "I would like to have some to sell in the next villages I visit. Who owns this tree?" "No one owns this tree," replied a villager. "If anything, we belong to it." "Well, then, if no one owns the tree, then no one will mind if I pick the fruit," said the merchant, and began to fill a basket. "I mind," said the villager, "and today I am the keeper of the tree." "What do you mean, the keeper of the tree?" "We each take our turn being here with the tree. We could never own it. We are here as protectors, as sustainers." "That's ridiculous. This tree doesn't need you. You could just take what you need, take what you want. The tree will continue."
But the villager could not be persuaded. "Sir, this tree isn't like that. We don't come here to take from it, even though we receive much. We are keepers of the tree because this is where we are nourished. This is where some of our most precious memories are and where our people have dreamed. This is where we remember who we want to become." "Well," said the merchant, "you may think this tree is very special, but it still doesn't need you to sit with it. That is preposterous." "Ah," replied the villager, "the tree itself may not need me, but what of others who come by? Just this morning, I sat with a woman whose heart was heavy with worry. Had I not been here, she would have had to carry that heavy weight alone. And this afternoon, a tired couple came by and they rested with me. They said they had been looking for a place like this, and then an elder came by. We watched the birds on the branches together. And now, you are here. You were confused about what this tree is and how to be with it. Imagine if you had arrived and not found anyone here to talk with. You might have continued thinking that everything you do is all about you. Luckily for you, my friend, I'm here to let you know when you care for the tree of life, it becomes about so much more than just you. And the merchant sat for a while in the shade, thinking about these ideas that felt new and a little challenging. As the sun went down, he picked up his bag and headed out of town, whistling a song he hadn't thought of in years. On his way, he shared a smile with each person he met, his heart feeling strangely light and joyful. And the people of the village, they continued to sustain the tree of life, to care for one another, and to share their gifts with grace and gratitude. May that be so for each of us. Let us hear our anthem. Thank you so very much. Beautiful. Here again, a few sentences of the readings we just heard. The tree stood in the middle of the village. Its trunk was so large that it took 6 people holding hands to reach around it. The roots were strong and wide, and its branches spread out over the village square, offering shelter from the rain or shade from the summer sun. Its fruit was juicy, sweet, and plentiful. The villager then speaks with the traveling merchant about the community's relationship to the tree and says, "We don't come here to take from it. Even though we receive much, we are keepers of the tree because this is where we are nourished. This is where some of our most precious memories are and where our people have dreamed. This is where we remember who we want to become." Our church has the potential to be like this tree. We are strong, we're grounded, we're sweet, we offer shelter, we create space for nourishment, we offer respite from the world, we provide cover for one another, and our gifts are plentiful. We require many to surround us. Now, ours might not be the biggest building in the city, but imagine the number of arms it would take to wrap around our space, especially as it grows to become the accessible space it so needs to be. The footprint of our tree is growing, and it's growing because of your gifts, the gifts you give that make our church what it is. Just as church may be like this tree, we can be like the villagers. What if we did not consider our church as belonging to us, but us belonging to our church? While we are hopefully receiving much from it, even if it frustrates or annoys you sometimes, it's our responsibility to refrain from taking from our church. This difference may not seem so obvious at first, but I want to illustrate an example. On January 25th of this year, our coming of age group hosted a pasta dinner here at 2U. They prepared for hours. They made pasta, and they made pasta, and boy, did they make some pasta. There was an incredible bounty. There was pesto, my favorite, and red sauce. There was salad and garlic bread. Tables were set up right here where you're sitting in the sanctuary, and our amazing young people decided that they wanted to serve those who came in to enjoy the meal. While I was sitting at my table, Ben came over to take my order, and not long thereafter, a plate of pasta arrived before me. The same occurred for each person around me. It was a community gathering of receiving. Now, while those gathered gave money to attend the dinner because it was a fundraiser for our coming of age group to go to Boston in June, it wasn't an exchange for services rendered. It was a gift of receiving by our young people, a gift of receiving by those gathered at the dinner tables. And I would suggest that most importantly, it was a gift of receiving for our whole community. When we build with one another, when we strengthen our relationships, when we share experiences together, we're practicing the art of receiving church. Church is made possible because all of us are in it together, even when there's conflict at the table. We choose to receive church because we are deserving. And we are deserving not because of some financial contribution or task we did at church. We are deserving because, as our sign outside says, you're not just welcome here. You belong. So as a good Unitarian Universalist, I have to add some caveats to my words, because there's always a little extra nuance. So even though I am challenging the dynamic of taking, I want to offer a brief yes and I want to clarify that taking from church isn't actually always the worst framework. So I just said not taking, now I'm saying maybe a little bit of taking. But while I like the vision of us receiving from the great bounty that we co-create, whether that be in the kitchen, the sanctuary, a house party, or in the garden, there might be times when you feel like what would be best for you is to take something. In recovery community, it is often said that you should take what works and leave the rest. What I love about this articulated blessing, and I do see it as a blessing, is that sometimes the whole of something, it doesn't work for us. But there are liberating and beautiful parts that are exactly what we need. Today, for instance, maybe you need to take what you get from Pat's music and leave the rest. Maybe you need to take one sentence from my sermon and leave the rest. Maybe you need to take our money trees and leave the rest. Maybe you need to take the silence we shared before our prayer and just leave the rest. I bet it could be possible, even though, to experience this as a kind of receiving. Because know that church is intended to be fully available for you to receive whatever it is that you need in any given moment, even when it's hard for us to find that. And you need not always give back. Sometimes you just need to receive. I want to return to the villagers. The tree is where they remember who they want to become. What a huge responsibility that tree has. It holds so much of its community. It holds powerful truths. It holds possibility and vision. To hold the articulation of what one or what one's community aspires to become, what a brave sense of trust there must be between the tree and the community. As Unitarian Universalists, we are constantly becoming. For most of us, our theologies have evolved many times over our lives. Some of us believed in God and stopped doing so. Others of us did not believe in God and then found God in the spirit of unending love. We've moved from beliefs in hell to understanding that there is nothing to fear after death. We've traveled from a path that told us there was only one truth, and we found an understanding that indeed there are seemingly endless truths out there. We've embraced or rejected prayer. And even though we may have heard that only an organ or piano should make music at church, we've learned that indeed an electric guitar, bass, and even a loud drum kit can belong on our chancel. And Carl knows how much I love the drums, so if you are a drummer, let me know. Our church is becoming, and we are each becoming. How can our church be the thing that holds the memory of who we are becoming? Part of this memory lies in our covenant and our values. We recite our covenant each Sunday as a reminder of the promises we're making to one another. In your order of service, you will find also the 6 articulated values of Unitarian Universalism with love at the center. This year, I've been going over each of these values, and we've been talking about these evolved values a lot over this past year. And this June, we will discuss and take a vote about amending our own church bylaws to incorporate, possibly, these evolved values into our own governing document. This morning, my focus is on the value of generosity. The language that accompanies this single word in our UU values is as follows. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Does the story of the tree give clear evidence of this? Are you feeling ready to share your faith, presence, and resources with those around you? Now, of course, it is pledge season right now, and you might not immediately think of pledge season as the most exciting time at church, but my goodness, is it a blessing. This is a time when you look at all the things our church does, not just for you, but for the person next to you, the person behind you or in front of you. Ours is a church that strives to meet a multitude of needs. One of the things I love about generosity at church is that it's rooted in a deep practice of gratitude. We give because we know that as we do, we receive. Not like a transaction at the store, but a profound inner knowing that almost by magic, our cup gets filled up when we're pouring it out into the cups of those around us. Now, certainly we cannot pour from an empty cup, and maybe the dew that comes off the leaves from the tree that is of life, maybe it is filling our cup. Or maybe the water that comes up from the roots, holding us closely, fills our cups up. It's a relationship of generosity, a relationship of gratitude. Sally Gico Tisdale writes, gratitude, the simple and profound feeling of being thankful, is the foundation of all generosity. I am generous when I believe that right now, right here, in this form and this place, I am myself being given what I need. So let's take a moment together and for ourselves, what does church give you that you need? What do you feel grateful for? Maybe church feels hard sometimes. During our ingathering for new members, we always affirm that we know things will get tricky at moments, but church membership is a commitment to stay at the table. We say we embrace conflict. It is with gratitude that we keep giving of ourselves, even as we put boundaries up about what is best for us, healthy boundaries. We expect much of one another, and we need to extend and embrace the grace of the universe, knowing that all of us fall short of one another's expectations. Church is not perfect because it's made up of people. And contrary to popular opinion, we are not perfect. We are, though, infinitely valuable. We're infinitely worthy. We're gathered up in the infinite love of the universe. And so, again, I ask you to reflect. What are you grateful for at church? What inspires your generosity? What reaches into your spirit and calls you to give of yourself to this beloved community? We are in trying times. We are living through a moment that, as Heike preached about last week, it is making us angry. And that anger is righteous. So what, in addition to this, are you feeling grateful for? And why are you going to keep on giving? I want to share some things with you about our church. Some of these things you probably already know, but they need to be spoken aloud anyhow. I wonder if you know that 53 members of our church and friends of our church participate in our music ministry in some way. These are people who sing in our choir, play in the band, lead hymns, play instruments, participate on the music committee, sing in the family choir, making the music of our church possible week after week. That's nearly 1/4 of our church involved in music ministry. Now, if you are one of these people, would you raise your hand, music ministry people? Look around you. Thank you for your gifts. Did you know that we have 45 children and youth registered for our Lifespan Faith Development Program right now? And that there are 45 adults connected to these children? This church season, we've had 39 people involved in teaching classes and providing childcare. Now, there's some overlap in these numbers. What I want you to hear is that nearly half of our church is involved in our Lifespan Faith Development Program. Now, if you are part of that ministry, raise your hand. You are beautiful. Thank you. We see fewer of those hands because they are downstairs doing it right now. So as of last week, we have 72 pledges in, and we are 62% of the way to our pledge goal for this year. Be proud of what it is that you have done. It is incredible. You are a gift. Your generosity is beautiful, shaped, I know, by your gratitude for this community. And we still have some big strides to make. Your giving keeps our programming going. Your giving keeps our incredible staff compensated. Your giving nurtures our social justice efforts. Your giving supports our identity-based groups like Drum Allies, Wise Older Women, and newly founded men's group. You give, we thrive. You nurture us, we nurture you. I want you to give from a place of hope and abundance right now. We're being told to be hopeless, and we have got to refuse to do so. We need you to give. We need you to increase your giving, and we need to ensure our ministries are here for generations to come. We have been here since 1857. We have hundreds of years to go. Fun to think about, hopefully. While we are traveling towards our goal, at this moment, we are not increasing at quite the rate we need to in order to maintain the budget of our church. Now, don't feel scared by that. Feel hopeful that you might be ready to give more to sustain this tree of ours. Our current increase rate is just under 7%, and we need to be closer to 18%. And it's a big number, but it represents beautiful, beautiful things. It's our music ministry, our children's ministry, our pastoral care ministry, our building that's about to be fully ADA accessible, and it's about our commitment to collective liberation. In a time that thrives on hopelessness, give generously and embrace hope. So I want to leave you with a poem from Marge Piercy. Who shall bear hope? Who else but us? After us is the long wind blowing off the ash pit of blasted genes, or after the remarrying of the earth and the water. We must begin with the stone of mass resistance and pile stone on stone on stone. Begin cranking out whirlwinds of paper, the word that embodies before any body can rise to dance on the wind, and the sword of actions that cuts through. We must shine with hope, stained glass windows that shape light into icons. They glow like lanterns born before a procession. Who can bear hope back into the world but us? You, my other flesh. All of us who have seen the face of hope at least once in vision, in dream, in marching, who sang hope into rising like a conjured snake who found its flower above timberline by a melting glacier. Hope sleeps in our bones like a bear, waiting for spring to rise and walk. Let us give with hope. Hope of what is possible. Hope of the tree of life that sustains us. Hope that each of us will feel the generosity, the gratitude that flows within us. Let it be so, and amen. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Bring
rest your hands upon your heart or clasp hands with those you're sharing your life with, and hear these words from Unitarian Universalist theologian Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. Go in peace, beloveds.